Today we're driving the 2020 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD. This is an LTZ crew cab with the optional 6.6 liter turbo diesel Duramax engine that's mated to a 10-speed Allison transmission. It makes 445 horsepower and 910 pound-feet of torque. It can tow about 27,500 pounds. It's luxurious, it's massive. There's more space in here than a lot of luxury vehicles as far as passenger room. It's pretty well laid out, and I'd say there's some aggressive styling going on the inside and outside of this truck. But there's a lot of switchgear, a lot of buttons, a lot of things to do to use this truck to tow, to haul, for work purposes. If you really need to tow a large load, this is probably one of the best options out there, and definitely has some of the most capability of any of these trucks, heavy-duty trucks on the market. So, luckily they haven't hidden a bunch of features in the infotainment. You've got buttons, switches, knobs, physical things to touch for all of your controls. There are a series of buttons down here controlling your exhaust brake, your lane keep assist. You can electronically lower and raise the tailgate from here. Engage your plug outlets in the truck bed. You've got a number of outlets here too. Adjust your trailer brake down here, and then you have your off-road and normal drive modes on this button. Auto, 2 high, 4 low, 4 high buttons there. You've also got a cargo lamp in the back, and of course you also have a heads-up display, if you guys can see that. You can cycle through a few different modes. It'll show you where you are in the lane, which direction you're going, and then there's also an off-road mode that will show you if you're in 2 high, 4 low, 4 high, and your angles of departure and lean. Pretty well appointed cabin. The materials feel pretty decent. Everything falls to hand quite well, and I feel like I'm the king of the world. This truck is so tall that you can almost see inside the cabins of a semi-truck from this. You have the towing mirrors. This truck has the electronically controlled ones. They do show you your blind spots and your rear tires for parking. Speaking of parking, there are a slew of camera options. There are cameras all over this truck, and you can even connect a camera to your trailer and have that transmit imagery, but we're not towing today, so we're not really going to get into that. There are some other really good videos on YouTube that show that there's like this invisible trailer mode that's really cool, that basically just shows you through the trailer what's behind you, and it aids in parking and all sorts of other stuff. But for now, we've got a 360 above cam, forward facing and reverse facing cameras. You can also switch between an above view from behind, an above view from the front. This would help in trailer parking and stuff too. There are so many different options. You can zoom in, enhance, full screen, dual screen, and also there's a bed camera as well as a trailer tow camera, which is easy, makes it easy to hook up your trailer. All right, just so many cameras, it's great. Going into the infotainment, pretty basic, pretty simply laid out. You don't really need it for your climate control. Apple CarPlay works well enough. The screen is a little bit, you can probably tell here, it's a little bit faded. It's not the best quality screen, highest resolution, nicest level of contrast in blacks. And you can see at an angle, it definitely does lose some of its colors and black levels, but it works, it does the job. We have this Bose sound system. We'll do a sound test on this a little bit later too. Pretty decent, about what you'd expect for this truck at this price point. Lots of space to put things in here. Ample room in the glove box. And of course a massive center console. On this LTZ, we get these 20-inch wheels, all-terrain tires, and of course the Duramax, which is a $9,890 option. Really, this is pretty much your most extreme option of the Silverado. Comes in around $72,000. The MSRP, the starting price is about 53 grand. Got GM spray and bed liner. And if you need to raise that, it just goes up automatically. A lot of steps, a lot of ways to easily get into this really tall bed. There's even a step here. Plenty of lights, cameras to show you everything. Let's take a look at this 6.6 liter Duramax. Hard to tell from here, but this is a huge motor. And it's pushed pretty far back behind that front axle. Looking in the back seat, we've got some pretty cool options here for storage. You see down there, there's the reverse camera that you hook up to your trailer. You even have little storage compartments behind the seats on both sides. These headrests fold down pretty easily. You've got grab handles everywhere and just colossal amounts of legroom. A couple of seat heaters, plenty of cup holders. Very comfortable. Feels very open and airy in here. No problem driving across the country while towing a camper in this Silverado. Alright, let's go for a drive. There's some other videos on YouTube that go a little bit more in depth with the features and everything of these trucks. There are almost infinite ways you can spec these, and so many options, so many ways to customize and build your Silverado for your purposes. But we're not going to get into that. We're just going to take this for a drive and show you guys what it's like on the road. Yesterday I did a little bit of a longer highway stint on this, and I averaged about 19 miles to the gallon, according to the readout with this diesel, which is pretty impressive. This Duramax is actually pretty quiet, pretty smooth. GM's 10 speeds always do drive and shift really quite well. They've done a great job with the transmission programming on this. It really allows you to utilize the torque from this engine. And there are really no surprises or negative attributes to this drivetrain combination that I've found from a drivability standpoint. Even the ride quality on this truck, considering its towing capability, is actually quite good. I remember when these heavy-duty trucks used to just ride like they were on rocks, and there was no suspension compliance whatsoever. And maybe it's this particular package with the off-road suspension, but the ride quality is actually quite good, quite livable. And imagine as soon as you are towing a trailer or adding a load to the bed, that'll only improve. It's so satisfying driving these big trucks with their diesel engines. You feel like you're in a baby semi-truck. All the power under your right foot, endless torque, or what feels like it. Brake pedal on the Silverado is pretty firm. The power's quite impressive. Have this seamless delivery, really linear power band. The transmission just doesn't really need to downshift that much to give you the power. Down a gear or two and you're right in that perfect power band. At highway speeds, there's not a lot of wind noise either. Quite a bit of refinement overall from the Silverado. Of course, this particular truck only has about 800 miles on it, 900 miles. No squeaks, rattles, shakes, or anything. But I would expect that from pretty much a brand new truck. It gets a little bit bouncy and jostly over rougher pavement, but again, so much more refined than what these trucks used to drive like. I'm sure this would be pretty comfortable to drive off-road or on rough back roads. We have a traditional cruise control setup here, just like the old days. Very refined, very quiet on the highway at speed. Very little wind, tire noise. You're quite isolated in here. Blind spot monitoring does let you know if there's a car in your blind spot, and you do get pretty decent visibility looking around the truck otherwise. I haven't really noticed much of a difference in braking or off-throttle deceleration with an exhaust brake. There might be just a little bit more, but it's all pretty subtle with how massive this thing is, the turning radius. It's not gonna do much. There's definitely no audible difference with exhaust brake on and off, like you would expect. This Silverado puts its power down really well. It's comfortable, it's luxurious. While we're on the highway, let's do a sound test here in Apple CarPlay. Sound system sounds pretty good. So sound system's pretty decent. It's a little bass heavy, some rattles throughout the cabin here and there, but overall it's a pretty good sound system. You've got decent clarity in the midtones and higher registers and lots of bass. This is definitely a traditional cruise control system with just a sensor that's telling me how close I am to the person in front of me, which doesn't make a lot of sense because I can see the person in front of me. Alright guys, well there you go. There's your first impressions drive on the Silverado 2500 HD. If you need a truck like this and you're going to use it for its intended purpose, not a bad way to go, though I imagine this is probably overkill for most truck buyers in the market. That said though, for what it is, it's reasonably priced, it's comfortable, it's easy to live with, it's massive, it's huge, it's enormous. Definitely not something that you're going to want to be able to take to the supermarket or park downtown. It's just too big for that type of thing. But otherwise, pretty nice truck. It's always fun to get into something with 900 pound-feet of torque. Yes. Alright guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.